We optimize our businesses, we optimize our teams, we even optimize our coffee, but somehow we still treat our health like an afterthought. Most women entrepreneurs don't ignore their health because they don't care. They ignore it because every wellness plan sounds like it was designed for someone with loads of free time, a chef, and no deadlines at all. So, namaste to all of you. Today, we are going to have a very honest conversation about how not to quietly destroy our health while building everything else. And that is true web care's energy and a session that truly says that web cares for you. So, we're going to start very small, nothing intimidating. It's going to start with small, tiny habits and steps. So, we're calling it the 1% rule for women entrepreneurs. And it's going to be something that you will participate in as well. As women leaders and entrepreneurs, I'm sure that all of you here know how to build teams, evolve strategies, raise capital, solve problems, and deliver under tremendous pressure sometimes. But we as women are usually not so aware about how to build stamina for leadership. Somewhere along the way, exhaustion becomes normalized, burnout becomes private, something that you never talk about to others, and health becomes very negotiable. But today's session is about just one idea, the 1% rule, not a dramatic transformation, not something that stresses you out more, not some kind of a extraordinary discipline, just small repeatable actions that compound into better health, better energy, better focus, stronger immunity, better sleep, and honestly, better leadership. Joining me today is Dr. Mehta Pantula, who's a senior consultant at Apollo Hospitals, Bannerghatta Road, Bengaluru, and she is the head of the Department of Preventive Medicine. Dr. Mehta Pantula has done her MBBS from the Andhra Medical College, Visakhapatnam, and the DNB in Family Medicine from Apollo Hospitals, Hyderabad, and has had over 20 years of clinical experience. She's worked extensively in the area of preventive health, focusing on overall well being, mental health, and stress management. Her work is centered on helping individuals to build practical, sustainable health habits that fit into real, demanding lives. So, I can't think of anyone better to advise us today on how to follow the 1% rule. Welcome, Dr. Mehta Pantula. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Would you like to begin the discussion with a common question that ails most women who work? When did this exhaustion and ignoring health become some sort of uh, a marker that you're very ambitious and you're very career focused? And why is that not correct?
Okay, first of all, thanks for the kind introduction, Dr. Srinidhi, and namaste to all the audience and the organizers. I think it's very kind of you to arrange such a session for all the women entrepreneurs in the country and focusing more on the 1% rule, which is very helpful to all of us. So coming to the question, you said about the burnout and where the burnout and the ambition, right? So when generally we talk about ambition, ambition generally creeps slowly. I'm not saying ambition is bad. What you have to differentiate here is what your ambition is leading to. Okay, and it obviously we all have goals to achieve, we all have targets to reach, or we should have the satisfaction in our work to help others, whatever it is. The ambition, once it starts creeping into our life and it demands more of your time, like reduced hours of sleeping, you're having your irregular meals and less time to rest, all these is when I think you should take a pause and think about, is your ambition going in the right way? So that is where I would say pause, think about it, become aware of what is happening to you. I'm saying ambition is not bad. But ambition without proper a sound mind and a healthy body will not take you in the to the right goal where you want to reach.
Right. What you must be seeing so many women as part of your Pro Health and other health programs. So what do you
Yes.
think are the most common areas which people normalize that actually worries you as a doctor?
Yes, as a doctor, I see because people, when as you said, I'm working as a senior consultant in preventive medicine. I practice a lot of preventive medicine. This is where I think we should not ignore the symptoms or the signs which the body is actually telling us. The body is warning you. You feel fatigued. I mean, in spite of everything, having everything, you're sleeping properly or you're having your meals on time, but still you feel fatigued. That is an important sign that your body is telling you. You're probably not sleeping enough, but you're doing everything else right, and you still feel fatigue. Okay, fatigue, anxiety, the decision making burden, because women generally are there for everybody else in their family. And their health comes last to most of the women, whether working, not working, everybody. Women are supposed, we are built like that, I think, to take a lot on ourselves and to focus on everybody else's needs rather than our own needs. And the red signals, I would say, is fatigue, not feeling good. We may call it anxiety or depression, will not name it yet, but you are feeling low throughout the day, not only physically, but also mentally. The fatigue sets in. All these are red flags which you should not. I'm talking about the mental health here, not the physical part. And if you're tired by doing a little work, then probably we'll talk about the other issues like anemia or probably insulin resistance, all these things. So I would say anything which is not happening normally in your life. You're losing appetite, you're not sleeping well, you don't have the mood to exercise, and you're not feeling mentally refreshed after sleep. These are all the signals that your body is telling you that something is wrong with me. Please take care of me.
And are you seeing this now earlier in younger women, or what are do you see these symptoms very often even in younger women now?
Yes, yes. We are seeing a lot of such symptoms in younger women, especially who are working, because they are uh, thankfully the current generation is well aware of what is happening to their bodies, and they are very clear about what they want in life and all that. So if something is bad and something is not right, they are seeking medical help sooner than the older
That's really good.
generations.
That's really quite
That's
encouraging.
actually good. That's actually good. So in our days, when most of the women are homemakers, the women would seek attention at the last moment most of the times. But these times, that is probably one of the reasons that we are seeing a lot of these symptoms coming up in the earlier generations as well. I'm not saying something is wrong with it, but somewhere in the somewhere along the years we started eating a lot of processed foods for whatever reasons, again lack of time. You're traveling most of the times, you can't have healthy meals all the time. So all these habits again tend to cause problems at an earlier stage, what we used to compared to what we used to see
Yeah, yeah,
in the before generations. Yes.
absolutely. Viewers, actually, please put in your questions as well. We have got quite a few from you, which we will address after a little bit of more discussion with Doctor. Then we will intersperse those questions also. But please feel free to just jump in and ask your questions too. But absolutely right, Doctor. I think the other thing, of course, is that when people are aware and they do read a lot about things, there's also a lot of information available there now. And so these terms are also, bandied about quite a bit. it may be not fitting proper definitions. And one such thing, which is kind of quite a trendy thing to say, is I'm burnt out. Burnout. Now, I just have always wondered, is burnout a clinical thing? Because I don't remember learning about it in my medical school days. So,
Absolutely, you're
what is,
absolutely right.
I don't remember, or I might have left it
Yeah, no,
in my
no, no.
exams.
We never had that. Yeah.
What is burnout? I think it'll help our viewers a lot if you tell them, because again, there is a fine distinction between, like there's also actual extreme exhaustion. So there are people saying they're tired all the time, but reports are normal. So what is burnout? Is it a clinical problem?
Burnout, when it affects your physical and mental health, becomes a clinical problem. But burnout per se, I will define it as chronic stress overload with inadequate recovery. Okay. So that eventually leads to burnout and fatigue. I would call it very specifically stress is the cause. Chronic stress, not 1 day or 2 days, which you're not sharing, which you're not able to talk to anybody about it, and with the inadequate recovery. So, recovery happens only when you rest, when you give your mind some peace, okay? When you sleep properly, when you eat properly. So, when the recovery is inadequate and the stress keeps adding up every day, that is when actually burnout happens. And again, chronic burnout can lead to many.
No.
Yeah. So again, there will be many things. If I have to pick, I will pick sleep because if you see, first thing observe is that after a night's sleep, are you, when you wake up, are you feeling fresh and rejuvenated? If the answer to these questions on most days, see, 1 or 2 days, I can understand. But on most days, if the answer to this question is a yes, there is something definitely wrong going. The
So,
second thing is your appetite all right? I'm not talking about overeating, I'm not talking about undereating. Do you feel hungry when you're supposed to feel hungry? Okay, that is the second thing where you know that the gut is acting properly, and then you feel hungry because your hormones are working well, all those things. The third thing is the chronic fatigue, which everybody talks about. Okay, now this when I talk about the chronic fatigue, it can come in many forms. Okay, people really feel a lot of pain in their legs, the neck area, their arms. Okay, they're not able to sleep because of these pains in the night. Okay, so this chronic fatigue can have multiple symptoms. So anything which you feel is not right beyond a week or beyond 2 weeks, please see the doctor.
yes.
Okay, so these are the important things. And the third thing I will say when I talk about the gut is that is your bowel movement happening properly every day? Okay. Are you constipated? Are you having loose stools? Or you have alternating constipation and loose stools? Okay. If you are passing normal stools every day, generally, broadly, it says that your gut is healthy. If you don't have any acidity issues, all this. So these are the basic things I will ask every woman to check for. If these things are okay, we can add more things to that.
So the thing about what to do about these things, the whole, we have said that burnout is the extreme end point when you're chronically fatigued and you don't have proper recovery. So now the next question will be like, what do you do? Like, what can I do with my time? And the problem with a lot of the wellness advice that comes is assuming that you have a very calm life. I mean, like you have something where, you can really do things in a very ritualistic way. You can do every little thing as per your plan. But unfortunately, life is not like that. And every day is rather chaotic for most of us. So
Yes,
this is where
for
I
most
love
of
this
us.
1% rule, because it says that it kind of assumes that you don't have a very calm life. So I just want
True.
to know from you, doctor, what is this 1%, I mean, there are many things which you can start as a 1% thing, which we'll come to later, but what is the science behind it? I mean, how does it help you? I mean, how can you say to someone that you just start so small? Will it have benefits?
Okay, so this 1% rule is very important when we are talking about habit formation, and when we are looking at a long-term goal, right? So here we are not in a hurry. There is no drama. Even if you have less time to spare, these habits, what I'm talking about, will not take much of your time. So simple. I mean, for you, I'll give some examples. 1% rule applies to small habits. So every day you can think about, okay, how many hours did I sleep? Okay, I'm sleeping for 6 hours. So can I sleep 15 minutes more? Okay. Don't think about the outcome. Think about what you have to improve in your life and how much percentage can you improve today, incrementally tomorrow, the day after. Okay. Say, this is again very, very common in my patients. Many of my patients, especially I'm in Bengaluru, most of these patients come from tech companies, very big IT companies, and they say, Doctor, I don't have time to exercise. Okay. And I tell them, see, exercise is not you do for half an hour or 45 minutes daily. Of course, that is a different thing. I'm not saying that doesn't help you. But why can't you walk for 5 minutes in the morning when you're brushing your teeth, when you're making coffee, when your teapot is boiling? So don't sit and scroll on the phone. Don't look at the phone and watch your schedule on the phone. Keep walking. Okay. So this is one micro habit which you can form. So whenever you have, a little pause during work, and you can go, just get up from the chair, do a little movements, stretch your muscles, stretch your ligaments, then just go out for a walk, 5 minutes in the sun, come back. How much time will this require? Hardly 10 minutes in every hour, probably, if not every hour, every 2 hours, right? So 1% rule applies when we start small and do it in an incremental way. Even if you don't do it in an incremental way, don't worry, but be consistent. So today I did only 2 push-ups. I mean, I'm telling you. So today I can't do more exercise. Let me do 2 push-ups or let me do 2 or 5 quick squats. How much time will it take? Hardly 5 minutes. Don't tell me you don't have even that 5 minutes with you. Okay. So tomorrow, if tomorrow you are not able to do more than that, no problem. Repeat the 5 squats. Day after tomorrow, increase it to 6, probably 7, and slowly that becomes a habit. So, this 1% rule is about forming healthy habits slowly without taking much of your time. And then once they become the habits, it becomes your routine. It's not something which is, an apple sitting on the tree which you can't reach.
Yeah.
Already in your basket, you can just cut it and eat it.
I think we all have this all or none kind of thing. So either you go all
Exactly.
out,
Exactly.
you dress up in your gym clothes and you have to be there, or
The
you
first people will buy their gym clothes, take a gym membership, and then stop going to the gym.
yeah, I'm also like that most of the time. I have also started doing these small habits where, this whole scrolling in the morning, because it
Yeah,
becomes kind of a very,
I
as
can
your
completely
coffee.
understand.
So, one thing which I can also share is that recently I've started some sort of journaling where, the first thing I have made a kind of a ritual
Wonderful.
where I would say that as soon as I wake up in the morning, I'm not going to look at the phone. That's all. Like, it's not forever. I'm just not going to look at the phone till I pick up my cup of tea. And I have made a little rule. Not that I'm never going to look at it, but before that, I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to do some breath work. I'm going to write down one
Wonderful.
affirmation for the day in my journal. Then I come back to my tea, and then maybe I just look at the news of the day, not go into everything like in, and then quickly get
Exactly.
to the next thing and keep some time aside later. I think the whole thing is in this 1% is also about being kind to yourself, being self-love and compassion to
Correct.
yourself,
To
that you're
yourself.
doing a
Correct.
lot, and you have
And
to.
here I want to add something. Every time you do a small task which you wanted to do, thank yourself.
Yeah.
Say thank you. Okay, because you are doing yourself a big favor. I'm not joking. Thank yourself.
Yes. I think that is very important. Uh, but let's now talk about. I'm just going to take questions. We've had a lot of from our viewers, so we'll come to that before we go to the next chunk of our discussion. But
Okay.
uh, still staying on the 1% rule. So you were mentioning, Doctor, about maybe taking this little bit of a movement during the day, incorporating it. And then I said something about morning scrolling. Anything else that you could give as examples of this 1% rule? Maybe something to do with eating, because that's another thing. Because if people are going to live in airports all the time, and they're going to be all the time on airport coffee and and they're going to be all the time sitting and doing calls. So what would, in such a situation, are there other micro habits that people can develop?
Okay, so I mean, when you talk about the airports, we all, I don't know, but generally most of us reach early, no, unless, you're stuck in traffic or something like that. So you will have some time for yourself. Most of us do have a lot of time waiting in the lounge, right? So that is one more time where you actually, airports are very big, so you can take a long walk, right? And hydrating yourself. That is one more thing I want to tell, that you don't really feel thirsty, but you can be dehydrated at the same time. So keep sipping water. If you're afraid of going to the washroom multiple times, don't gulp water like a glass or two, but probably keep sipping water. Okay? And see, when you're idle, you have to think about the harm your mind can do to you. Suddenly, you'll start feeling hungry because in the airport
And suddenly
you have lots
those
of time to
donuts will look
chill.
very tempting in the morning.
So basically, before that, I mean, ask yourself, if you have half an hour time, how can I use this time to improve myself? Okay. If you have some work to do, I'm not saying you will stop that work. Please continue with your work. But if you don't have any work to do, you just want to kill some time before you catch that flight. So think about reading a book maybe, or reading something which is interesting to you, right? Do not reward your brain without the effort. Okay. So reaching out to a chocolate or probably a scoop of ice cream just because you're waiting and there's no other work to do doesn't really help you. Okay. So you can think about and what suits you. Do something different. And one more thing you can do is some deep breathing, as you said, Dr. Shrindi, which you do it every morning. So deep breathing, consciously taking longer breaths and longer exhales, calms your nervous system down, brings you back to the reality, and you're much present in you're there in the present. Okay, not thinking about the future, not worrying about the past. So become aware, become conscious about what your surroundings are, how you're feeling, all those things. And journaling is one more thing you can do at sitting at the airport. You can write about what your thoughts are, how you felt in the morning, something changed. So when you have time, use it wisely, but don't feel guilty if you're not able to. Again,
Yeah.
guilt is a stress response. Okay, don't feel guilty.
I think I would like to add to that by sometimes we just feel better with a hot uh, beverage when we are, just tired in the morning. But you can go for, things like black coffee or start, I think, having black tea. You can have, I think most airports also have those options. It's not that they only have
Yes,
highly
yes,
sugar
yes,
drinks, at least cut the sugar. And another thing that I found useful is that, today, I mean, there is really these wonderful bags that people carry with all those little fittings. So carry a little
yes,
flask with you, and it's very easy to just have a kind of a small plant protein shake before you leave the house. Carry that with you. And I think, I always tell myself, have this. And then if you feel like having something else, you can always have it. But most of the time, you really don't want that. Plus, a black coffee at the airport actually does the trick, and, it's enjoyable. So I think that fine balance between, keeping something which is healthy, and then most often you will not go overboard on anything else. And the other thing, as doctor was saying, reading is, I think, a long lost habit that most of us now do all our quick content reading only on Instagram or TikTok or anything like that. But the Kindle is another good option to carry
Very
around,
good option.
because it has all kinds of books that it's a good investment that you can, and it has
True.
even, I have read a lot of wonderful Tamil books also on Kindle, and there are regional things as well. You can carry a whole library of books of that interest you, that keep you engaged.
True.
So it's quick, light, and quick to carry about everywhere. It has long charge. So that's my sales pitch for the Kindle. Sorry about that.
That's a nice one.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
let me now address some of the questions that are coming up. Yes, I'm going to take some questions that are coming now live, but also the ones that came up earlier. Thank you for sending in these questions. So we'll try to address most of them. Yes, how to become motivated if we have some kind of work daily is something which doctor has already addressed, I think, which is about, would you like to quickly uh, sum that up, doctor?
Can you read the question out again, Dr.
Yeah, it's
Srinidhi,
it's
please?
just how to become motivated if we have the same kind of work daily. So I think this is more about boredom.
Okay, it's about
Yeah,
routines.
yeah.
Yeah, so routines.
Also, I
Okay,
think whether sometimes
quickly.
being bored at work, it's not very
Yeah. Probably. I mean, doing the same thing repetitively at work, I mean, it leads to boredom, probably lack of motivation. The question says lack of motivation, how to feel motivated. So I would say a quick thing, probably for you. And first thing, before I say anything, routines are not bad. Routines are our comfort zone. Okay, so first of all, if you're thinking having a daily routine, I have to go to office and then do the same work, the office work, come home, cook, sleep. So there's nothing challenging. There's nothing, it is the same routine work. Please don't think like that. Be thankful that you have a routine to follow. Many people don't have actually. Okay. The second thing is if you want motivation, find meaning and purpose in what you're doing. So your work might be impacting so many other people in a good way. So that gives you purpose, that gives you meaning in your work. So meaning, when you find meaning and purpose in your work, motivation automatically is there.
The next question is how to be consistent when the result is not in your favor. I assume that, they mean that, you don't see immediate results. So, how to be consistent in that situation? And definitely,
Okay, again, here the 1% rule matters. So, see, we see results. What did I say earlier is the same thing. That results will come eventually. Okay, just trust the process. And how to stay consistent, individualize, manifest yourself as the better version of yourself. A slimmer you, a healthier you, a happier you, probably. But do not at some point later in life, do you want to regret saying that I should have done that? No, don't have regrets because we are all here to do our part. And once you do your part, your job is done. You, I mean, this is one thing I tell myself, and of course, my daughter, I tell her this a lot because she's the one who complains that, I'm working so hard, but I'm not seeing any results. So I tell her, I mean, most of you must have heard it. There is a saying in Sanskrit from Bhagavad Gita, Karmanye Vyadhikaraste Ma Phaleshu Kadachana. It means that you're entitled and you have the right only to the part of doing your job and your responsibilities. You're not entitled to question or think about the consequences of it. Okay? Because consequences or the returns, what you are expecting, is in the bigger picture. We can't have tunnel vision and keep expecting the same result what you want. but be consistent. That's more important. Do your part with your full heart.
The question as to what is the one thing beyond work, food, and exercise, yoga, meditation, one should surely do to take the enterprise much forward. I think that itself is a lot. I think you've just missed out sleep and stress management. So, doctors
Yes,
already.
yes, sleep. I didn't hear in that question.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Sleep.
Yeah, no, I just went through that. But
Yeah.
the other one more question here is how to manage sugar cravings when stressed.
Very important question. All of us will have sugar cravings. So understand what time, first of all, understand what time of the day are you having these cravings. Is it mid-morning? Is it after lunch in the evening when you reach home? Or is it late night? Okay, three times? Or I don't know, because in between we'll have our meals anyway. So if it is mid-morning, you're having at around 11:30 before your lunch, I think you should think about increasing your protein in the breakfast. Sugar craving is a response to stress. It is not hunger. Understand that. Okay. So mid-morning cravings, most probably due to not enough protein in the morning diet. So start your day with protein, hydrate yourself. That is mid-morning. In the evening, again, after reaching home, make sure before you reach out to your candy bar or the ice cream which is there in the fridge, ensure that you drink water and have a light protein like a roasted chana or peanuts or some sprouts or something. Still, you have the sugar craving, then go for a little bit of candy or whatever, homemade sweet or whatever, but very small amount. Here, the again 1% rule is practicing reducing the sugar craving slowly. I'm not asking anybody to leave sugar completely, and I'm not judging anybody that if you're eating your sugars every time you're having sugar craving, you don't have willpower. It's nothing about willpower. It's how we tell our brains repeatedly saying that this is not good for you. So today I'll give you a little bit. For tomorrow, let's not do this. Okay. So if it is midnight again, if you're feeling hungry, that's probably lack of sleep. You're not able to sleep. That's where you want some stimulation for the brain. Okay. So most of our sugar cravings happen due to stress or work overload or all these other reasons. So identify the trigger factors, see if you can reduce the trigger factors, reach out to water first, reach out to a better option first, then calm down, take some deep breaths. Till you have the craving, then eat a little bit of sugar, but tell yourself that this habit will go down gradually. I have to bring this down. Did that make any sense or any more doubts?
I think that covers it beautifully, Doctor. Talking about sleep, Shreya here is asking about melatonin gummies. So, can I take melatonin gummies daily and what dose? And
Okay.
the other, there's
So
also a related
melatonin,
question from B. Kapoor on magnesium tablets. And the other one is on Epsom salt bath dips as well from Shreya.
okay, Epsom salt, I think, is not for the sleep. So let's talk about the sleep first. So melatonin and magnesium supplements, if you are taking especially the magnesium glycinate, which people generally read a lot and take it from Amazon or any of these. So melatonin is a supplement. It's not a supplement. Melatonin is a hormone which is secreted once so after sunset, when the lights dim, there is darkness outside, it should naturally come into the body. But with this globalization, with this long calls in the night, we are working 24 bar 7. Most of us work. So I think the circadian rhythm is gone while we were evolving. Okay. So most of the people, unless they take that melatonin, they can't sleep. So here I want to tell you, melatonin is harmless, but the thing is there is a risk that, first thing is that melatonin can become habit forming. Most of the websites or they say it's not a habit forming. But if you are used to taking melatonin in the form of a tablet, that means you're suppressing the melatonin production in the body naturally. So don't do that unless there are special occasions where melatonin can be taken, like you are jet lagged. So you want to sleep early so that you can wake up early and attend a meeting tomorrow. So you're jet lagged, or some temporary time where you are not able to sleep because for whatever reason, I would still suggest melatonin, but it is not a solution for sleep problems. Similarly, with magnesium glycinate. Magnesium glycinate can, of course, it's not only a sleep adjuvant, but also helps in the normal metabolism also. So again, try it for yourself and see if it is helping. But if it is making you drowsy or you have a hangover the next day, please do not take it. Better than these two, I will say sleep, following a sleep hygiene is important. Okay. So when I say sleep hygiene, 1 hour before your bedtime, 1 hour before you decide to sleep, dim the lights in the house. Okay. I will not say no screens, because most of the patients tell me I sleep watching my phone. Okay. So, but the general, thing what we hear is screens are bad. Screens are, of course, bad. So, what I generally tell to my patients is, do not read or watch anything which stimulates your brain in the late hours. If you want to open your phone, read about something boring, read a book, or put on earphones and listen to some podcast. Okay. The podcast also should not be very, as I said, it should not stimulate your brain. Your brain, this is the time for the brain to rest, for the body to rest. So the transition from an awake state to sleep state should happen smoothly, and you should help it naturally to come. And try to maintain a rhythm for your body. Try to sleep at the same time, try to wake up at the same time. Okay. So one more tip is, your body might be tired, but the brain is still very active. So you're physically very tired, you can't do any work, but you can't sleep also at the same time. Okay. So that is when deep breathing works. Just sit up, put one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. Inhale for 4 seconds. There are many deep breathing techniques. There is box breathing, which you inhale for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds. Again, do the same. But that is a little difficult, or you can practice that as well. Or you inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, and exhale for 8 seconds. I mean, if not, you can't count, but still you can do it. 4 seconds with your nose, hold for 4 seconds, long exhale for 8 seconds. Repeat this cycle at least 10 times. The brain will calm down, the sympathetic nervous system deactivate, and the parasympathetic nervous system will take over. That is when your body relaxes, your mind relaxes. So melatonin and magnesium are optional, better not to take unless advised by a doctor, but do these routines which will help you sleep better. Again, nothing will change overnight. These are small habits which you should start doing to improve your sleep every night.
Touch upon a couple of questions which address similar concerns. So, this is largely in the realm of maybe mental health, relationships. So, one is about, how to get the spouses to share the workload at home. And the other thing is about women entrepreneurs in India facing a unique set of structural and social challenges when asserting compared to their male counterparts. And it's not about a lack of capability, but rather about deeply ingrained cultural expectations. How to navigate around that? I think this is an important area to touch upon, but might be much beyond a scope of a small webinar. This is a very large topic, but might again impact health, cause anxiety, cause exhaustion. So, which is why I'm bringing this up. There are couple of questions in this manner. So, we
Okay. So the first question is how to make your spouse do the share the load at home, is it?
yeah.
So, okay, again, uh, that's a nice question though, but I'm afraid one answer will not, one statement I give or
We
one
need
tip
to
I
do a
give will
session
not
for the
solve the
spouses. We need to do
problem.
a session for the spouses. I think.
True. But I believe in open communication. So all of you, I think, should communicate with your spouses openly about the difficulties you're facing at work, at home. No blame, no judgment, calmly telling them what you're going through. At the same time, acknowledging their efforts, what they are going through, their mental health. Okay? When you and your husband team up and act like one team, then everything is solved. Again, as I said, every person is not the same. Every husband is not the same. Every wife is not the same. Right? So try this. Remember open communication. Okay? Listen at the same time speak. With empathy, no judgment, no blaming. Right? I think that should work. The second question is about the difficulties which women face in this world. I'm not denying any of that, but remember the bias probably let the other person show. You, as a woman, you should not feel the bias. Just because I'm a woman, I'm being dealt like this. Just being because I'm a woman, my voice is not heard. Take that out of your mind. The bias probably resides in you, not the other person, right? Remember, when you're doing any role, there should be no bias. You believe in it first, and then others will follow, right? And when you are in a meeting or something, I also see, I've had 20 years of experience and worked in quality management also. And I was an administrator in Apollo Secunderabad also. I also faced a lot of resistance. I was junior then. I mean, I was not a senior at that point of time. I had faced a lot of challenges. But never did I take that is because of women. That is change. When somebody, we are very, very less adaptable to change. So, and mostly it is not about women telling men to do something. It is about you are telling them to change something about them, probably. That is where the resistance is coming from. So, identify the problem. What is causing the problem? I don't think it is gender bias. It is probably the attitude, the tone we use while talking, all these other matters. I think we should have another session about mental health about when we talk about all this. But this is a vast, huge topic.
Yes, absolutely. Um, there's also a set of questions about the girl child, which I don't know if it is kind of we're deviating a lot from the 1% rule, but these are all related questions, I think. So, appropriate foods, physical stamina, mental stamina for the girl child. And again, there's somebody else who's now asked us about toddlers. I don't know exactly what. Do you think we should move on more to our 1% rule? Because these, maybe we should do a separate session on children, uh,
Again, I
toddlers.
heard you saying girl child.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me be, you have a doctor, Dr. Srinidhi, I have a doctor. So we are, I think, qualified enough to talk
Talk
about,
about the girl child. Yes.
bringing up a girl children. Okay, so one thing I will always tell the parents is be available to your children. Okay, not physically, mentally, and emotionally. Stop judging them. We all do mistakes. We have done mistakes and we have grown up. We learned our lessons. We have grown up. Please allow your kids to do mistakes. Okay, but keep protecting them, keep them safe, tell them the difference between what is right and what is wrong. Eat healthy. Once you start doing all these, the kid will learn from you, from seeing you, from doing all this, not because you're just telling them to do these. Okay, so whatever you want your children to learn, you better start doing them yourself.
Okay, here's an interesting question. I drink very little water during the day and compensate at night. Does it work?
Will that not disturb your sleep?
Yeah.
Because you have to basically go to the washroom multiple times if you compensate by drinking a lot of water in the night. Again, please, when your body is resting, it needs rest. So don't disturb it multiple times by drinking too much water in the night. Okay. So if you're forgetting, drinking water, keep some reminders, probably some stickers on your laptop, on the fridge, in the car, wherever you are, or some reminders on your phone every half an hour, take a sip of water, keep the water bottle visible at all times. Okay. Some tips there you can, better hydrate yourself.
I think we will now move on to a bit about also prevention and preventive screening. So the thing is, you know, there are some questions about it, but I think there is also this whole aspect. In fact, there is one question which prompted me to shift to this topic where somebody has asked, I ignore my health because I'm afraid of discovering something serious. So, how do I overcome this fear? Is the question. So, I think this should lead, I think, to some discussion about the screening and what's important.
Okay, so this person is asking that they fear going to the hospital because
Yeah.
something bad might
Yes.
turn up, right? Okay, let me ask you another question. How long will you live in fear? How long can anybody live in fear? Okay, so if you're postponing something out of fear that you will probably find something in the tests, okay, and that's why you are avoiding it, can you avoid the problem forever? No, right? We can't. None of us can't. Okay. So why don't we look at it in a positive way, saying, come to the hospital. If all the tests are normal, you're relieved. You need not live with the tension of, oh, probably I have something which I don't know, but I don't want to go. Okay. Look at the positive side. If everything is normal, you can go home with a sigh of relief saying that everything is fine. Okay, that itself should bring out take out the fear from your heart. The second thing, this is where prevention comes in. Okay, if you're apparently healthy, probably nothing is too wrong, but something is wrong at a very smaller levels where we can correct it. We can tell you what to do to prevent larger problems from happening later on. Okay, larger problems, health problems, I mean, can be devastating sometimes. Okay, monetarily, emotionally, and time again. So better that we do a preventive health checkup every year, or at least see a doctor. Okay, ask what test should I do. The doctor will take your medical history, do a physical examination, tell you, okay, these are the tests you can do, right? So as I said, one option is that all your reports will be ready and you'll go home a happier person. The second option is probably you'll identify something which can be dealt with. Everything has treatment, everything has a solution now. There's nothing to be feared. Take the fear out, you'll be a more happy and a healthy person. We have answers for everything, even in medicine.
And another
Everything, anything can be dealt with.
And also, you must remember that just because you have not gone for the test doesn't mean that if you actually have something that can be corrected in an early stage, that will be happily growing and expanding in your body anyway, whether you have gone for the test, whether you have not gone for the test. So,
And some point of time, it'll come out.
yeah, so you have to kind of, and as doctor said, the earlier you identify, the less you will have to, monetarily work time off, as well as, the ultimate outcome is going to be much better when you tackle that early on. So even
Early
a
on.
simple thing like supposing you're doing a health test and finding out that you are pre-diabetic. Now that is reversible. So, you can take factors if there is a fatty liver which is in its early stage. Now, we don't want it to become worse and worse, and then you end up with actually a non-alcoholic or alcoholic fatty disease or something like that, which becomes into irreversible, and you
Irreversible.
need a transplant. Now, just imagine having a transplant as compared to just finding out that you have this, it is reversible, and you can take some steps. So, I think preventive care is something which, again, you have to put it, it's also a 1% rule, I think, to make time to do that annual health check, because that is again something that you should track. I think as leaders, you are used to tracking performance all the time, so why not track body's performance as well? So I would also say agree with doctor that every year, that is another micro habit set aside. These days you can do very nicely programmed tests with finish off in half day, and there are many options to do it. It's available everywhere, so no reason to really avoid it. Doctor, I just wanted to ask you about some of the NCDs which are becoming also, I mean, though each one of them merit a session on their own, but I know that some of these silent health risks that keep creeping up, could you give us a few quick pointers on what they could be, and how again, the micro habits play a role in preventing, reversing NCDs. So that aspect, if we can discuss, because I think now we are kind of running out of time. So I think these are
Yeah.
important
So
things.
quickly, so NCDs are non-communicable diseases. So these are not infections. These diseases cannot be communicated to the other person. That's why they're called non-communicable diseases, in short, NCDs. So these are diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, other lifestyle diseases like anemia, asthma. There are many. Cancer also is considered a lifestyle disease in most of the cases. Not every cancer though. Say, like example, smoking causes cancer. It's a lifestyle disease, of course. So I would say, first of all, do a health checkup and know your baseline for everything. Okay. So see whether your sugars are all right, your blood pressure is all right, how are your cholesterol levels doing? Okay, how is your liver functioning? Do you have a fatty liver? How well are your kidneys functioning? Okay, baseline check, nothing fancy, nothing much, so that we identify at least most of these conditions before actually the symptoms appear. Okay. So these conditions can be treated, can be reversed with a good lifestyle and with the 1% rule, what we are telling about. When we know what should we do, we can plan it in such a way that we'll do it in smaller steps, but we'll finally achieve the success. You want to reverse pre-diabetes, we can do that through the 1% rule, no problem. You want to reverse high blood pressure can be reversed, no doubt about it. Okay. So all these, first you have to identify where you are at. That's your baseline. That forms your baseline. And then we go ahead and start improving, what needs to be done every day, small changes in your life, what can be done. Because once you do drastic changes, they are not sustainable. Small changes are sustainable in the long run.
So again, that brings us to the same question, that all these things can be kind of sorted out by consistent habits as well. But as doctors,
Yes. Yes.
baseline, and just like your business KPIs, these also need to be tracked year after year. And
Yeah.
believe
True.
me, it can help. And I think, it can be life-saving. It can be economically too, it can also save you losing
It
lot
saves.
in your business if you're going to take off a lot of time rather than just spending half day and then sorting out problems. So that, it's always good to know what's going on. Just like in your business, you like to know every day what's going on. You should also treat your body the same. I think we are almost out of time, but there's one thing that I wanted to also say in the session, that, a lot of things, there is one question which pushed me to say this, because there's someone who said, as a young entrepreneur, I'm often told to focus only on my business and everything else will fall into place. But that doesn't feel right. How should I make time for my health? Now, we've already discussed how you should make time for your health. But what I want to say now is that, even in your business, even in your, I think the outcomes for your business should be good profitability, and it should be something where, it is successful and you expand it and all that. So, for that leadership, you are the leader. As a woman entrepreneur, many times you will be the CEO, you will be the leader. So here, this is something which people may not teach you at business school, or where you're being told that, nothing else matters. There is something called the biology of leadership. So, your sleep quality is going to affect your decision making. And when you're chronically tired, you're not going to treat your employees well. You're going to be angry, you're going to be irritable, you're going to have brain fog. So, your eating habits, your so all these micro habits, ultimately, when you follow consistently, you do the 1%, ultimately it's also a good prescription for your business. It's like having, making yourself very calm, self assured, confident, not anxious, not chronically irritable, keeping your employees happy, being a happier person, healthier person. So I think burnt out leader is not an effective leader. So for that sake, at least we would think that the 1% rule is important. Nobody in a leadership conversation really talks about these things. So all these, the sleep, the hormones, the hydration, the nervous system, the gut health, everything matters. So I'm going to take one last comment from the doctor and then wind up the session. But please know that we are always available. Webcares is a forum, it's not a single event. You can keep the conversation. I did notice some queries asking about next sessions. Yes, we would like to make it viewer driven. We would like to do topics which you require and you find useful. So we'll keep the conversation going. So we will have some last words to wind up the session from the doctor, and then we will close the session.
Okay. So, everyone out there, just take care of yourself. Tell yourself that you are enough. Only thing is that you have to be aware of what your body is telling you. So, listen to it. Do not panic. So, reach out to us or reach out to a doctor where you can discuss your problems and get the solutions for your problems. And before I leave, again, remember these slow habits, the small habits add up to big results. Do not ignore and be consistent with your efforts, even though they're very small. These will give you huge benefits.
Yes,
And all the best to all of you. Have a very great evening and uh, a very happy and healthy year ahead.
thank you, Doctor, for joining us. So please, viewers, remember that we are always here to address your questions. And just keep in mind one thing, that you really cannot lead sustainability, or you cannot build any business without your body working with you and not against you. So that 1% rule is exactly for that. So take care, all the very best to you, and see you soon with the next topic as suggested by you.